The massive alien ship appeared without warning. One moment the sky above New York was clear blue, and the next it was filled with a vessel so large it cast a shadow over half the city. People stopped in the streets, cars screeched to a halt, and millions of faces turned upward in shock. Similar scenes played out across the globe as more ships materialized over major cities. London, Beijing, Moscow, Cairo. Nowhere was spared the sudden appearance of these silent, hovering giants. Inside the Pentagon, alarms blared as military personnel rushed to their stations. General John Miller slammed his fist on the table as satellite images confirmed what they feared. Over 50 alien vessels had taken position in Earth's atmosphere. "Get me the president," he ordered, his weathered face grim. "And someone find Major William Carter now." Major William Carter was already on his way. The 38-year-old Marine had been called from training exercises the moment the ships appeared. His jeep sped through Washington, D.C., weaving through streets filled with panicked civilians. "Any word from the visitors?" William asked the driver. "Nothing yet, sir. They're just sitting there watching." William's thoughts turned to his wife, Dr. Lisa Carter. She was hundreds of miles away at a research station in Alaska, studying seismic patterns. He wondered if she even knew what was happening. In the frozen landscape of Alaska, Lisa Carter adjusted her equipment, puzzled by the strange readings she was getting. The ground was vibrating in patterns she had never seen before. "Hey, Paul, come look at this," she called to her assistant. "These don't look like natural tremors." Paul rushed in, his face pale. "Lisa, you need to see the news. We're being visited." Lisa's confusion turned to shock as she saw the images on the small TV screen. Massive ships hovering over cities around the world. The news reporter's voice shook as he spoke. "The United Nations has called an emergency meeting. All citizens are advised to remain calm and stay indoors." "William," Lisa whispered, knowing her husband would be right in the middle of whatever response the military was planning. Back at the Pentagon, William joined a room full of the highest-ranking military officials in the country. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. "They're scanning us," announced a young technician. "Every ship is emitting some kind of energy beam. They're scanning our cities, our military bases, even the ground itself." As if on cue, every television, radio, and electronic device on Earth suddenly broadcast the same message. A face appeared on screens worldwide, gray-skinned with 4 yellow eyes and no visible mouth. "People of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice deep and rumbling. "I am Admiral Zaxthul of the Krivian Empire. Your planet is now under our control. We demand your immediate surrender." In the United Nations building in New York, representatives from every nation watched in horror as the alien continued. "Your primitive weapons and disorganized military forces are laughable. We have conquered 17 worlds more advanced than yours. You have 48 hours to surrender before we begin planetary bombardment." When the UN Secretary-General attempted to respond, Admiral Zaxthul laughed, a chilling sound like grinding metal. "Your species lacks the evolutionary capacity to comprehend real warfare. We have studied your conflicts. You fight over imaginary lines on maps and invisible differences among yourselves. You are children playing at war." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the world in stunned silence. President Eleanor Grayson addressed the nation from a secure bunker. Her normally confident voice wavered slightly. "My fellow Americans, and indeed people of Earth, we face an unprecedented threat. I have ordered our military to full alert, but I urge all citizens to remain calm. We are working with all nations to form a unified response." At the Pentagon, William Carter was assigned to a special response team led by Colonel Frank Martinez. "Carter, your combat experience in the Middle East makes you valuable for this team," Martinez explained. "We need soldiers who can think on their feet." "What's our play, sir?" William asked. "Their technology is clearly superior." Martinez gestured to the screens showing the alien ships. "We need to know more about them, what they want, why they're here, and most importantly, if they have any weaknesses." Captain Samantha Reeves, an intelligence officer, entered with a tablet. "Sir, we've analyzed their scanning patterns. They're not just looking at our military capabilities." "What do you mean?" William asked. The scans are penetrating deep into the Earth's crust. They seem particularly interested in our oceans and fault lines. William thought of Lisa and her seismic research. My wife is a geophysicist. She might be able to help us understand what they're looking for. Martinez nodded. Get her on a secure line. In Alaska, Lisa was already noticing something strange. The scanning beams are causing micro-tremors, she told Paul. It's like they're deliberately agitating the fault lines. Her phone rang, a classified military line. Lisa, it's me. William's voice came through. William, are you okay? These ships? I'm fine. Listen, we need your expertise. The aliens are scanning the Earth's crust. Does that mean anything to you? Lisa's scientific mind raced. They might be looking for resources, but the way they're doing it, it's almost like they're surprised by what they're finding. Before she could explain further, alarms blared at her research station. William, something's happening. The tremors are increasing. It's like their scans are resonating with the natural fault lines. Outside the research station window, Lisa watched in horror as cracks appeared in the ice. The ground was shaking, but not like any earthquake she had experienced. This was different, almost like the Earth itself was responding to the alien presence. In New York, a small alien craft descended from the mothership. It landed in the empty Central Park, where a brave, or foolish, news crew managed to capture footage of the first alien to set foot on Earth. The creature was tall and thin, with 4 arms and gray skin that seemed to shimmer like metal. It extracted a device and plunged it into the ground. After a moment, it removed the device and studied it, tilting its head in what seemed like confusion. Admiral Zaxthul's voice boomed across the planet once more. Your world has an unstable core, primitive and chaotic, like your species. His tone was dismissive. It will make no difference. Prepare yourselves for the true meaning of war. As the alien returned to its craft, the ground beneath Central Park trembled slightly. The news crew captured the moment when the alien paused, looking down at the shaking Earth with what might have been concern. Back at the Pentagon, William watched the footage with growing interest. Did you see that? He asked Martinez. The alien seemed surprised by the tremor. Martinez nodded slowly. Captain Reeves, find out everything you can about the geology of the worlds they've conquered. Carter, get your wife here as soon as possible. William felt a spark of hope for the first time since the ships appeared. They may be advanced, sir, but they don't know everything about Earth. As night fell across America, the alien ships remained, motionless in the sky, their lights casting an eerie glow over frightened cities. But beneath the surface, the Earth continued to tremble slightly, as if awakening to a new threat, or perhaps preparing a response of its own. Lisa Carter grabbed essential equipment as military helicopters approached her research station in Alaska. The past 12 hours had been a blur of activity since her conversation with William. The ground continued to tremble beneath her feet, not violently but persistently, like a living thing stirring from sleep. We need to hurry, Paul said, helping her pack seismic monitors and data drives. Those tremors are getting stronger. Through the window, Lisa saw ice cracking across the landscape. This isn't natural, she muttered. The alien scans are somehow interacting with Earth's crust. The helicopter landed and soldiers rushed out to escort her. As they lifted off, Lisa looked down at the research station. A large crack had formed beside it, as if the Earth was opening its mouth. At the Pentagon, William paced nervously. The room was filled with military personnel and scientists gathered around screens showing the alien ships. Each hour that passed brought them closer to the 48-hour deadline. Major Carter, called Colonel Martinez. Your wife is en route. ETA 3 hours. William nodded, then turned his attention to new satellite images. What are these smaller craft doing? Captain Samantha Reeves pointed to blips on the radar. They've landed in remote locations around the world. All places with significant geological activity, volcanoes, fault lines, geysers. They're very interested in our planet's geology, remarked Dr. Alan Winters, a scientist who had been brought in from a classified military program. That might give us an advantage. William raised an eyebrow. How? We don't know yet, Winters admitted. But they seem concerned about something. In the Mojave Desert, Lieutenant Jack Powell led a small team of soldiers toward an alien landing site. They moved silently through the rocky terrain, keeping low. There, Jack whispered, pointing to a small craft that gleamed silver in the sunlight. 3 aliens moved around it, inserting devices into the ground. The soldiers watched through binoculars as the aliens collected soil samples. One alien held up a device that projected a holographic image of the ground layers deep below. They look confused, observed Private Ryan Jones. See how they keep checking their readings? Jack nodded. Something's not matching their expectations. Suddenly the ground shook. It was a small tremor, hardly noticeable to the soldiers who were used to California earthquakes. But the aliens reacted with alarm, their forearms gesturing wildly as they rushed to secure their equipment. They don't like that, Jack said with a slight smile. Earthquakes must not be common where they come from. One of the soldiers shifted position, dislodging a rock that clattered down the slope. The aliens spun around, raising weapons that glowed with blue energy. We've been spotted, Jack hissed. Fall back. Too late. The aliens fired. Blue energy beams struck the ground near the soldiers, turning sand to glass instantly. The team returned fire, but their bullets seemed to bounce off invisible shields surrounding the aliens. As they retreated, something unexpected happened. A larger tremor shook the desert floor. The aliens staggered, their shields flickering momentarily. One alien fell to its knees as a crack opened in the earth beneath it. Jack saw their opportunity. Fire again, now. This time, one of their shots penetrated the weakened shield. The alien screeched, a high, metallic sound, as it collapsed. Other aliens quickly retrieved their fallen comrade and retreated to their craft, which rose swiftly into the air. Did you see that? Ryan exclaimed. Their shields failed when the ground shook. Jack nodded grimly. We need to report this immediately. At the Pentagon, Lisa arrived exhausted but determined. She was escorted directly to a conference room where William waited with Colonel Martinez and the response team. The reunion between husband and wife was brief, but intense. William held Lisa tightly for a moment before they both turned to the matter at hand. Dr. Carter, Martinez said, we need your expertise. What can you tell us about these seismic events? Lisa reviewed the data on the screens. The aliens are scanning our fault lines, but they're causing unexpected reactions. Earth's crust is responding to their technology in ways they don't seem prepared for. Dr. Winters joined them, introducing himself as a geophysicist with military clearance. We've compiled data on the 17 planets the Krivians claim to have conquered. Based on astronomical observations, all of them appear to be geologically dead worlds. Dead worlds? William asked. Planets without active cores, Lisa explained, excitement growing in her voice. No tectonic movement, no volcanic activity, no magnetic field fluctuations. She pointed to a global map showing recent tremor activity. Earth is alive, geologically speaking. Our core is molten iron. Our crust is constantly moving. We have a powerful magnetic field. This might be new to them. Lieutenant Jack Powell's report came through, describing the incident in the Mojave Desert. The room fell silent as they listened to his account of how the tremor had disrupted the alien shields. Their technology must be calibrated for stable environments, Dr. Winters suggested. They've never needed to account for seismic interference. William looked at Lisa. Could we use this? Somehow increase the seismic activity? Lisa's eyes widened. Artificially trigger earthquakes? That would be incredibly dangerous. More dangerous than alien invasion? Martinez asked quietly. The room fell silent again. Then Lisa spoke slowly. There might be a way. During the Cold War, there were theories about weapons that could trigger seismic events in enemy territory. Dr. Winters nodded. Project Tremor. It never went beyond planning stages, officially. Unofficially? William asked. Winters hesitated, then looked at Martinez, who nodded permission. We have a network of deep Earth devices installed at strategic points along major fault lines. They were designed to create controlled seismic disturbances. You're talking about intentionally triggering earthquakes? Lisa said, shocked. The casualties would be, we can evacuate population centers, Martinez interrupted, and we can target the devices to create resonant frequencies rather than destructive quakes, vibrations that might disrupt their technology without destroying our cities. William studied the map. How quickly could these devices be activated? They've been dormant for decades, Winters admitted. We'd need teams to reach them physically and reactivate them. Some are in remote locations. I'll lead a team, William volunteered immediately. Martinez nodded. We'll need multiple teams, and we'll need your wife's expertise to coordinate the seismic patterns. Outside, Admiral Zaxathul's voice boomed across the sky once more. 24 hours remain before we demonstrate our power. Your militaries continue to position your primitive weapons. It is futile. As if to emphasize his point, a small uninhabited island in the Pacific suddenly erupted in light as an alien beam struck it. When the light faded, the island was simply gone. Your bunkers cannot save you, Zaxthul continued. Your aircraft are toys compared to our interceptors. Your nuclear weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Tomorrow we begin cleansing this world for proper colonization. In the Pentagon conference room, faces were grim but determined. We have 24 hours, Martinez said. Let's get to work. William squeezed Lisa's hand. Can we do this? Lisa looked at the tremor data again, watching as small earthquakes continued to appear at alien scanning sites. The Earth is already fighting back in its own way, she said quietly. We just need to help it. The sun rose on what might be humanity's last day of freedom. Military helicopters flew William Carter and his team toward the Sierra Nevada mountains, where one of the deep Earth devices was hidden. 5 other teams headed to different locations around the world: the Andes, the Himalayas, the East African Rift, Japan, and Iceland. Each site sat atop a major fault line. We have 18 hours left, William told his team as they flew over California. Every minute counts. In the helicopter with him were 4 soldiers and an engineer named Steve Harris, who had helped build the original devices decades ago. Now in his 70s, Steve's hands shook slightly, but his mind remained sharp. These devices were never meant to be used, Steve explained, raising his voice over the helicopter noise. They were a deterrent, a last resort against the Soviets. Well, we found our last resort, William replied, checking his weapons. Let's just hope they still work. Back at the Pentagon, Lisa worked with Dr. Winters and a team of scientists to coordinate the mission. They had converted a large room into their command center, with screens showing maps of tectonic plates and alien ship positions. If we activate all 6 devices in sequence, Lisa explained to Colonel Martinez, we can create a wave pattern that should resonate through the planet's crust. The vibrations won't be destructive to our structures, but they should interfere with the alien shields and weapons. Should? Martinez asked. Lisa met his gaze steadily. This has never been done before. But the math works. President Eleanor Grayson joined them, looking tired but resolute. Dr. Carter, I've ordered evacuations of coastal cities and areas near fault lines, as you suggested. But I need to know, what are the risks to our planet? Lisa hesitated before answering. If we lose control of the resonance pattern, we could trigger more serious earthquakes, but from what we've observed of the alien scans, they're already destabilizing our crust. If they continue, they might cause catastrophic events whether we act or not. The president nodded grimly. Then we have no choice. Proceed with Operation Tremor. High above Earth, Admiral Zaxthul watched the movements of military vehicles with amusement. His second-in-command, Commander Vex, reported their observations. The humans are evacuating their population centers, Vex said, and they're sending small teams to remote locations. A primitive attempt at resistance, Zaxthul said dismissively. What do they hope to accomplish? Unknown, Admiral, but their movements seem coordinated. Zaxthul's 4 yellow eyes narrowed. Have our ground forces intercept one of these teams. Let's see what they're planning. William's helicopter landed on a small plateau in the mountains, The team quickly unloaded their equipment and followed Steve to a rock formation that looked natural to untrained eyes. "The entrance is here," Steve said, placing his hand on a specific spot. To everyone's surprise, a section of rock slid aside, revealing a dark tunnel. "Cold War engineering," Steve explained with a small smile. "No electronics to fail over time, just good old-fashioned mechanical locks." They entered the tunnel, using flashlights to illuminate their way. The passage sloped downward, taking them deep into the mountain. After walking for nearly half an hour, they reached a large metal door with a faded American eagle emblem. Steve worked on opening the door while William received a radio update from Colonel Martinez. "Carter, be advised. Alien craft have been detected heading toward your position. ETA 10 minutes. William turned to his team. "We've got company coming. Harris, how much longer?" "Almost there," Steve replied, his fingers working on the complex lock mechanism. "This system hasn't been maintained in decades." Finally, the door opened with a loud creak. The team entered a circular chamber filled with old but sophisticated equipment. At the center was a cylindrical device that extended down into a deep shaft. "The tremor device," Steve said. "It's designed to send controlled vibrations into the San Andreas Fault." "How long to activate it?" William asked. 20 minutes to power up, maybe more," William grimaced. "We don't have 20 minutes. Work as fast as you can." He positioned his soldiers at the tunnel entrance, preparing for the aliens' arrival. Through his radio, he heard reports from other teams. The team in Japan had already reached their device. Iceland was close. The others were still en route. Outside, the alien craft appeared, a sleek silver vessel that hovered above the mountain. A beam of light shot from its underside, and 4 Krivian soldiers materialized on the plateau. They were tall, gray-skinned creatures with 4 arms, each holding an energy weapon. William's team opened fire from their hidden positions. The bullets bounced off the aliens' shields, but the soldiers kept firing, hoping to at least slow their advance. "Harris, status?" William called into his radio. "Power systems are degraded," Steve replied, his voice tense. "I'm bypassing safety protocols. 10 more minutes." "We don't have 10 minutes. As if to confirm his words, an energy blast from an alien weapon hit the rocks near the tunnel entrance, sending debris flying. One of William's soldiers was struck by a piece of rock and fell, wounded. At the Pentagon, Lisa watched the situation unfold with growing anxiety. "Team Sierra is under attack," she reported, "and we need all 6 devices." Dr. Winters leaned forward. "Maybe not. If we adjust the resonance frequency, we might be able to create the wave pattern with just 5. "The calculations would be different," Lisa said, already typing on her keyboard. "But it could work. We'd need to increase the power on the remaining devices." The team in Iceland reported their device was online. Japan was ready. The Andes team had reached their location. "What about Africa?" Martinez asked. There was a grim silence. The team in the East African Rift had gone silent 15 minutes earlier. "We'll have to proceed with 4, Lisa said. "It's riskier, but possible." In the Sierra Nevada, the situation was growing desperate. 2 of William's soldiers were down, and the aliens were advancing toward the tunnel entrance. "Harris, we're out of time," William shouted into his radio. "Almost there," Steve replied. "The system is powering up, but I need to set the frequency manually." William fired his last magazine at the approaching aliens, then drew his sidearm. "Whatever you're going to do, do it now." Inside the chamber, Steve's hands flew over the controls. The device hummed to life, the sound growing louder as power flowed into it. "Frequency set," Steve reported. "Initiating in 30 seconds." The lead alien reached the tunnel entrance. William fired his handgun, knowing it was futile. The alien raised its weapon, aiming directly at him. Then the ground moved. It was subtle at first, a vibration more felt than seen. The alien paused, its 4 eyes blinking in confusion. The vibration increased, becoming a steady tremor that shook loose rocks from the tunnel ceiling. The alien's shield flickered, energy patterns disrupting as the seismic waves interfered with its technology. William didn't waste the opportunity. He lunged forward, tackling the alien to the ground. Without its shield, the creature was vulnerable. They struggled briefly before William managed to subdue it. The other aliens retreated as the tremors grew. Stronger. Their craft wobbled in the air, its stabilizers failing as the seismic waves intensified. Device fully activated. Steve's triumphant voice came through the radio, sending the signal to the Pentagon. At the command center, Lisa received the confirmation. Sierra is online. We have 4 devices activated, initiating the resonance pattern. She typed the final commands, and the screens showed the seismic waves beginning to spread across the planet's crust. Like ripples in a pond, the vibrations moved outward from each device, combining and reinforcing each other. It's working, Dr. Winters said in amazement. The wave pattern is forming. Above Earth, Admiral Zax Thule felt his command ship tremble. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. What is happening? He demanded. Commander Vex checked the instruments, confusion evident in his voice. The planet's crust is generating some kind of coordinated seismic pattern. Our shields are being affected by the vibrations. Zax Thule's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. These primitives cannot control their planet's geology. But the evidence was undeniable as his mighty ship continued to shake. The ground trembled across the entire planet. In cities, skyscrapers swayed gently. In the oceans, the water rippled in strange patterns. And in the sky, the alien ships began to shake. At the Pentagon Command Center, Lisa watched the seismic waves spread across the global map. The 4 activated devices created a resonance pattern that traveled through Earth's crust, growing stronger as the waves combined. The pattern is holding, she announced. Frequency is stable. Dr. Winters pointed to another screen showing the alien fleet. Look at their ships. The smaller ones are losing altitude. It was true. Several of the smaller Krivian vessels wobbled in the air, their engines flaring as they struggled to maintain position. 2 ships over the Pacific Ocean dropped sharply before recovering, nearly touching the water. Colonel Martinez received reports from military units worldwide. Our radar stations report fluctuations in the aliens' shield frequencies. They're becoming unstable. President Grayson, who had remained in the command center, leaned forward. Is it time to launch our counterattack? Martinez nodded. Yes, Madam President. I recommend immediate deployment of all air forces. If their shields are compromised, our weapons might be effective now. The President gave the order. Within minutes, fighter jets scrambled from bases around the world, heading toward the alien ships. Lisa monitored the seismic activity with growing concern. The resonance is building faster than we expected. The waves are amplifying each other. Is that good? Martinez asked. It's more effective against the aliens, Lisa replied. But it's also more dangerous for us. We could lose control of the pattern. Dr. Winters checked the readings. How long can we maintain it safely? Lisa did quick calculations. 20 minutes, maybe less, before we risk triggering major earthquakes. Then we have 20 minutes to make it count, the President said firmly. In the Sierra Nevada, William and his team emerged from the underground facility. The alien craft that had attacked them was gone, retreated to a higher altitude where the seismic effects were less intense. Pentagon, this is Sierra team, William radioed. Devices functioning at full power. What's our next move? Colonel Martinez's voice came through. All teams are to return to base immediately. We're launching a full counteroffensive while their shields are down. William looked up at the sky, where the massive alien command ship still loomed. Even from this distance, he could see it shaking slightly as the seismic waves affected its systems. Sir, that command ship is still operational. If we could take it out, it might disrupt their entire fleet. There was a pause before Martinez responded. What are you suggesting, Major? William had an idea forming. The alien craft that attacked us retreated, but it didn't go far. If we could capture it, that's extremely risky, Carter. So is letting that command ship recover from this attack. Another pause, then. You have permission to proceed, but only with volunteers. William turned to his team. The 2 uninjured soldiers, Sergeant Kelly Adams and Corporal Ben Mitchell, stepped forward immediately. We're with you, sir, Kelly said. Steve Harris, the elderly engineer, shook his head. I'd only slow you down. I'll stay with the wounded and monitor the device. William nodded. Pentagon, we have a team of 3 proceeding with the mission. They climbed higher up the mountain, following the signal of the alien craft on their tracking equipment. They found it hovering behind a ridge, its metallic surface vibrating visibly as the seismic waves disrupted its systems. The shields should be weakened, William said. We hit it fast and hard. They opened fire simultaneously. Their bullets, which had earlier bounced harmlessly off the alien shields, now punched through the weakened energy barrier and hit the ship's hull. Sparks flew as the rounds impacted sensitive equipment. The craft lurched, dropping closer to the ground. A hatch opened, and 2 Krivian soldiers emerged, weapons ready. Take cover, William shouted as blue energy beams sliced through the air. The humans ducked behind rocks, returning fire when possible. One of William's shots hit an alien in what appeared to be its shoulder. The creature staggered but didn't fall. Their armor still works, William observed. Kelly pointed to a stream running down the mountainside. Sir, look at their reaction when they step in the water. William saw it immediately. When one alien stepped into the shallow stream, its armor sparked and flickered. The seismic waves were creating subtle electromagnetic disturbances in Earth's magnetic field, and water was conducting the effect. Use the water, William ordered. Drive them toward the stream. They changed their firing pattern, forcing the aliens to move toward the water. When both creatures stood in the stream, their armor systems failed completely. Kelly and Ben rushed forward, tackling the aliens before they could recover. After a brief struggle, both aliens were subdued. William approached the craft cautiously. Its hatch remained open, inviting them inside. Pentagon, we've captured an alien vessel. We're going to attempt to use it to approach the command ship. At the command center, Lisa heard William's report with a mix of pride and fear. That's too dangerous, she protested to Martinez. They don't know how to fly that thing. Martinez looked grim. It may be our best chance to strike at their leadership. Meanwhile, around the world, the counteroffensive was underway. Fighter jets engaged the disoriented alien vessels, firing missiles at their fluctuating shields. For the first time, human weapons found their targets. 3 alien ships crashed into the ocean. Another exploded over the desert. Admiral Zax Thule raged on the bridge of his command ship. How is this possible? Their primitive weapons should be useless against us. Commander Vex struggled to maintain his balance as the ship continued to shake. The seismic vibrations are creating a resonance pattern that interferes with our shield harmonics. Our technology was not designed to function in such unstable conditions. Send all ground forces to find and destroy whatever is causing these vibrations. We've lost contact with most ground teams, Vex reported. The electromagnetic disturbances are affecting our communications. Zax Thule slammed all 4 of his fists onto the control panel. These humans are more resourceful than we anticipated, but they cannot maintain this planetary disruption for long without causing damage to their own cities. Inside the captured alien craft, William, Kelly, and Ben struggled to understand the controls. The interior was designed for the four-armed Krivians with strange symbols marking various panels. Look for anything that might be a flight control, William said. Ben found a panel with what appeared to be directional indicators. Maybe this? He pressed a symbol and the craft lurched upward suddenly, nearly throwing them off their feet. That's it, William said. Now we need to figure out how to steer this thing. Through trial and error, they managed to gain basic control of the craft. It rose higher, heading toward the massive command ship that hovered above the clouds. Pentagon, we're approaching the target, William reported. But we don't have weapons control yet. Lisa's voice came through, tense and worried. William, you need to hurry. The seismic pattern is becoming unstable. We can only maintain it for another 10 minutes before we have to shut down the devices. William looked at his team. 10 minutes to find a way to cripple that command ship. As they approached the massive vessel, they saw other alien craft returning to dock. Smaller ships seeking the protection of the mothership as Earth's fighters continued their assault. That's our way in, William realized. We'll follow them into the docking bay. Their stolen craft joined the line of returning vessels, its exterior indistinguishable from the others. The enormous docking bay of the command ship opened to receive them, unaware that this particular craft carried human invaders instead of Krivian soldiers. Inside the command ship, Admiral Zaxathul was about to discover that the ground wasn't the only thing trembling on this day. His confidence was starting to shake as well. The stolen alien craft landed in the massive docking bay of the command ship. William, Kelly, and Ben crouched low, watching through the viewport as Krivian soldiers moved about the bay, many appearing disoriented by the continued vibrations shaking the vessel. "We need to blend in or hide," William whispered. "Any ideas?" Kelly pointed to containers being unloaded from other ships. "Those look big enough to hide in." Or, Ben suggested, "we use these." He held up the armor taken from the subdued aliens. William nodded. "Good thinking. The armor might get us closer to the bridge." They quickly put on the alien armor over their uniforms. The suits were too large and designed for 4 arms, but in the confusion of the shaking ship, they hoped no one would look too closely. "Remember," William said, "walk confidently and don't make eye contact." They stepped out of their craft, moving awkwardly in the oversized armor. To their relief, the other aliens were too busy trying to stabilize equipment and secure loose items to pay them much attention. William tapped the communication device in his ear. "Pentagon, we're inside. Any guidance on finding the bridge?" At the Pentagon, Lisa and Dr. Winters worked frantically, analyzing the alien ship's exterior to guess its internal layout. "Based on the energy signatures," Dr. Winters said, "the bridge should be near the top center of the vessel." Lisa relayed this to William while watching the seismic monitors with growing concern. "William, the resonance pattern is approaching critical levels. We have 7 minutes before we have to shut down." "Copy that," William replied, moving to the upper levels now. The 3 humans found what appeared to be a transport tube, a vertical shaft with platforms that moved up and down between decks. They stepped onto one and it began to rise. Around the world, Earth's military continued its counterattack. Fighter jets fired missiles at the disoriented alien ships. Ground-based defense systems, previously useless against the alien shields, now caused damage. 3 more Krivian vessels fell from the sky. But the seismic activity was intensifying, beyond predicted levels. In coastal regions, small tsunami waves began to form. In California, cracks appeared in roads and buildings. "We need to reduce power," Lisa urged. "The resonance is amplifying too quickly." "If we reduce power now, we lose our advantage," Martinez argued. "If we don't, we could trigger catastrophic earthquakes," Lisa countered. President Grayson made the difficult decision. Begin power reduction on the devices, slowly, to give Major Carter's team more time. On the command ship, William, Kelly, and Ben reached the upper levels. The ship's shaking had intensified, making it difficult to walk straight. Alarm sounds blared through the corridors. "That way." William pointed to a large doorway guarded by 4 Krivian soldiers. Before they could approach, the door opened, and more guards rushed out, responding to emergencies elsewhere in the ship. Through the open door, they glimpsed a large chamber filled with control panels and view screens. "The bridge. Now's our chance," William said. They moved quickly toward the door. One guard noticed them and called out in the Krivian language. When they didn't respond, he raised his weapon. Ben reacted first, tackling the alien to the ground. The other guard turned, but Kelly was faster, firing her human weapon through the alien armor. The bullet pierced the confused guard's chest. "Move!" William ordered. They rushed onto the bridge, weapons ready. Admiral Zaxathul stood at the center of the bridge, his forearms gesturing frantically as he shouted orders. He turned at their entrance, his yellow eyes widening at the sight of the oddly moving soldiers. "Intruders!" he bellowed, recognizing they weren't Krivians despite the armor. William pulled off his alien helmet. "Admiral Zaxathul, this ends now." The Admiral's face showed shock, then amusement. "Human, you've come to witness your failure personally?" "No," William replied calmly. "I've come to show you that you underestimated us." As if on cue, The ship lurched violently. View screens showed several more Krivian vessels falling from the sky as Earth's fighters pressed their advantage. Impossible, Zaxthul hissed. Your primitive weapons cannot defeat us. It's not just our weapons, William explained. It's our planet. Earth itself rejects you. At the Pentagon, Lisa watched as the seismic waves began to decrease in intensity. The devices were powering down as ordered, but something unexpected was happening. Look at this, she said to Dr. Winters. The natural fault lines are continuing the resonance pattern on their own. Dr. Winters studied the data in amazement. It's as if the planet's crust learned the pattern and is maintaining it independently. On the bridge of the command ship, William kept his weapon trained on Admiral Zaxthul. Kelly and Ben secured the other aliens present. You might control your ship, human, Zaxthul said. But our fleet is vast. More ships will come. They might, William agreed, but they'll face the same problem. Your technology isn't designed for a living planet like ours. Earth has seismic activity, magnetic field fluctuations, atmospheric disturbances, things your people have never had to account for. He gestured to the view screen showing the continuing chaos among the alien fleet. How many ships can you afford to lose? How many soldiers? For the first time, uncertainty showed in the Admiral's 4 eyes. What do you propose? Leave, William said simply. Mark Earth as unsuitable for Krivian conquest. Tell your empire that our planet is too geologically unstable for your technology to function properly. Zaxthul's expression darkened. You expect me to retreat from primitives? I expect you to make a strategic decision, William countered. You can continue this invasion and lose more ships and soldiers to a planet that literally fights against you, or you can find an easier target. Commander Vex approached the Admiral, speaking urgently. Our shields are failing across the fleet. We've lost 23 vessels already. The command ship's main reactor is becoming unstable due to the vibrations. The ship shuddered again, more violently this time. Sparks flew from control panels. Zaxthul's confidence finally cracked. Prepare retreat coordinates, he ordered. Admiral, Vex protested. The Empire expects success, not suicide. Zaxthul snapped. This world is not worth the cost. William spoke into his communication device. Pentagon, they're retreating. Can you confirm? At the command center, cheers erupted as sensors showed the alien fleet beginning to move away from Earth. Confirmed, Lisa replied, her voice thick with emotion. William, you did it. We all did it, William corrected. Now we need extraction. How do we get off this ship before it leaves? The answer came from an unexpected source. Admiral Zaxthul himself approached William. Your planet has won this day, human. Take an escape pod. We will not stop you. William studied the alien's face, seeing a new respect there. Why the courtesy? Because warriors recognize worthy opponents, Zaxthul replied. Today, your people proved worthy. Minutes later, William, Kelly, and Ben watched from an escape pod as the massive alien fleet retreated from Earth orbit. Their pod descended through the atmosphere, its landing beacon activated for recovery teams to find. At the Pentagon, President Grayson addressed the nation and the world. Today, humanity stood together against an unprecedented threat. And we prevailed not through superior technology, but through understanding and using the unique nature of our living planet. The seismic devices were powered down completely, but for weeks afterward, scientists recorded unusual but harmless tremor patterns across the globe, as if Earth itself was settling back down after being roused to defend its inhabitants. Lisa and William reunited at their home in Alaska a week later. Standing outside under the stars, they looked up at the sky where the alien ships had been. Do you think they'll come back? Lisa asked. William put his arm around her shoulders. Maybe someday, but they'll think twice about it. Lisa smiled, feeling a faint tremor pass beneath their feet. Just a normal, natural movement of the Earth. No, she said. For all their advanced technology, the Krivians missed something important. What's that? Earth has never been stable or predictable, and neither have we humans. That's not our weakness, it's our strength. In space, Admiral Zach Thule made his report to the Krivian Empire. Earth was classified as seismically unstable, colonization not recommended. But privately, he added a personal note to the file. Inhabitants highly adaptable and resourceful. Approach with caution. The alien general who had mocked Earth's military now knew better. Sometimes it's not the weapons that make a species formidable. It's their connection to their world and their determination to defend it.